Three, two, one. What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Dan Steven here for another reaction. This reaction, we're doing some Norm MacDonald. You know anything about him?
Only that, obviously, I know he passed away, and a lot of people were talking about him, but before that, I'd never really heard.
Not much, no. One of the guys, Kieran, if you don't be on the podcast, Kieran Jerry, he kind of mentioned to me all the time just about how funny he is. And what I've came across him, basically, someone said, I don't know if it's what it means, basically, but basically he writes jokes for comedians. Like you'll like say a joke and all comedians be laughing their head off, and I'm like, I don't get it. You know what
really
I mean?
Smart.
Maybe above my head.
Yeah.
But they seem so silly at the same time, that way.
Okay.
So I've obviously known about him for a while, and he's obviously on Saturday Night Live. He hosted that a couple of times.
Okay.
He used to be a writer and obviously a cast member on it in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I think he was like early 90s, like Adam Sandler and all too.
Right,
so like, it's a good crossover period because he's in a bunch of Adam Sandler movies.
Right,
but,
okay. I'll easily recognize him.
Yeah. But I came across him on Netflix. Netflix been throwing a lot of shit up because he died last September, and he wanted to do one last kind of stand-up show.
How did he die? Do you know? You don't know.
Leukemia.
Right, okay.
Yeah, acute leukemia, I think it was, or something. I think I read about it. But he wanted to do one last stand-up show, but basically COVID, and then he got really sick and he couldn't do it. But so he recorded it basically in his house on a laptop, like with a microphone. So like a whole stand-up skit, and it was eventually released like last month on Netflix. It's weird. I started watching. I only watched 10 minutes of it, but I'm gonna watch it fairly soon. I was going to bed. I'll whack it on to see what it was like. But it's weird because it's like a stand-up show. But obviously, sometimes you're like, you don't know when the joke ends because there's no laugh. You're like, there's no one, you know what I mean?
Like, to tell you when.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. But is there another punchline? You know, way there's a punchline in there. You're like, oh, wait, do I laugh now? You get me? But I started watching his show. He does a show on Netflix, like a talk show called I think Norm MacDonald has a show or something, basically. And he had Jane Fonda on it. You know, people like that there. And there's some it's so awkward and so unconventional that it's so funny. Like we'll whack it on episode 20 minutes before we go to bed. Right, and then we would like literally be in hysterics laughing on it because it's so awkward. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, it's so hard to explain unless you watch it. But I just thought we should do some of his best bits.
For it, yeah.
And this is Norm MacDonald Best Jokes Part 1.
So if people watch it, we'll do a Part 2 in about 6 months.
Yeah. A year, probably.
Sweet.
Yeah. Right.
Why do dogs always race to the door when the doorbell rings? It's almost never for them.
You know the funniest part of doing an office conga line? When you look back and realize you're doing it alone and you're not in an office, you're in a psychiatric hospital.
I've never been on top of trends, I guess. You know, when everybody was burning CDs, I was still burning books. Crowds in Brazil greeted arriving Olympians with signs reading, "Welcome to Hell." I had a wild night last night, boy. I was in an orgy. It was me, my iPad, my laptop, and TV while my phone watched. It's more of a comment, really. I'd like to take this moment to say I endorse podiums. That's a product I can stand behind. What about this one? This is for you.
Yesterday I had a picture framed. Now it's doing time upstate for armed robbery.
Well, listen to this. Catherine Zeta-Jones admitted she is bipolar. Half the time, she's deliriously happy, and the other time, she has to suck an old man's cock. That's dirty. Come on, man.
A new study shows that most men can identify a gay man by his face alone. It's the face that's buried in another man's asshole.
Hey, how about this? The Dalai Lama said that killing in the name of religion is unthinkable. Hey, thanks, Dalai Lama. I'm sure everybody will fucking listen to you. No one listens to the Dalai Lama.
No one.
I need to have glasses in order to see my family. Specifically, 2 glasses of scotch.
The Al-Qaeda online magazine Inspire has a recipe for a homemade bomb. They also have a recipe for a pretty darn good peach cobbler.
So they're not all bad, you know? A new study found that men with beards are more attractive than men without beards. More great work from the University of Bob Seger.
I think there's nothing cooler than being a lone wolf, except at wolf picnics when you don't have a partner for the wolf wheelbarrow races.
No, listen, my girlfriend's mad at me right now. Last night when we were having sex, I yelled the name of her ex-boyfriend. Nice fella. Surname you don't hear much anymore. Flintstone. This one's more like a factoid.
Danny DeVito looks like one of those guys with a short but thick penis.
Okay, here, what about this joke? Call me an old softy. But I'd prefer if you called me a distinguished gentleman with a flagging erection. John Wayne Gacy, man. Not my idea of a clown.
Not funny at all.
No.
That guy wasn't funny.
Barbara Walters announced that she's retiring from The View. Well, actually, she announced it 5 years ago, but no one could hear her over those yammering bitches.
Hey, how about this one? They say pimping ain't easy, Andy. But what they won't tell you, it is much, much more difficult being a prostitute. Pimping is pretty easy. Barbara Walters is planning to announce her retirement. What's next for Babs? Death. Well, isn't this wild? When I was told I was going to perform for a bunch of drones, I thought I was being booked on The View. You ever read a book? Oh, you read that communist thing?
Yeah, I read the Marxist manifesto.
Who was the better man?
Okay.
Dr. Martin Luther King? Stalin. Hey, by the way, I've noticed the term adult toy always refers to something you can shove up your asshole and never like a big race car, like for a grown-up.
Another good observation.
Growing up, I never would have believed that one day I'd need a computer just to masturbate.
It is strange when you think about it. In my opinion, if you're going to fight the war on terror, a good place to start would be this nation's haunted houses. You know, I may have told you this, but my doctor's getting very rude. The last time I went to him, he said, open your mouth and say oink. I remember, sometimes I get so PC about these things. That movie, The Last of the Mohicans, and they had a big protest. Apparently they weren't using any actual Mohicans. Anyways, white girls who wear big hoop earrings may be guilty of, quote, cultural appropriation. And they risk getting a curse put on them by peeved gypsy fortune tellers.
Did not like
Wait a minute. These are great jokes, by the way, Steve. Congrats.
Oh, good.
As always. Here's one for you. Here.
Artifacts from Auschwitz are set to go on tour for the first time.
You guys won't stop.
Experts believe that this will be Miley Cyrus's darkest opening act yet.
Wow. I know the Bible says not to covet thy neighbor's wife.
Right.
But it doesn't say a damn thing about coveting thy neighbor's husband, especially his sweet, hot fucking asshole.
This is sweet hot. Is that in there?
Hey, you're not going to believe this, but Bill Maher is giving away the solution to all our problems for free.
Las Vegas is now home to a 550-foot-tall Ferris wheel. Also drawing thousands to Las Vegas, whores.
My father was recently diagnosed with shingles, which is a terrible sickness that usually only affects roofs. I think the reason I most look forward to China ruling the earth is that all of their last names sound like slang for cock. I'll tell you a joke. You know they had a big black mass devil worship this week, apparently? But I skipped it because I believe you can be just as close to Satan on a golf course as in some Italian church.
Deep throat porn legend Harry Reeves. Yeah, he died. But how are they
You
going to
know
close
who
that
that is?
casket? I mean, because no, Swiss think I hate that. It's great. Thanks.
This one says, remember the old days when tweeting meant stabbing a hooker? Well, this Lindsay Lohan can't swim a stroke, but she sure knows every dive in town.
That one I like.
I don't know much about geopolitics, but that is one cool name for a country, Chad.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this one?
Yeah, okay. A 28-year-old med student is auctioning off her virginity online. For $300,000, you can have the worst sex of your life.
That ain't
Who
bad.
writes these?
Oh, well. This is what you never hear. He made love to me in the ass. So a woman from Denmark I met at a party was telling me how awful she thinks Trump is. So I shot back, yeah, well, you guys have that asshole Hans Christian Andersen.
That's funny.
It's just my patriotism.
When I was a child, my parents told me my uncle was sleeping with the fishes, which at the time I assumed meant he bought a waterbed. Then I found out he had been killed and his body buried at sea.
Dave, say what you will about Elon Musk, but with his new plan to bring people to Mars, nobody is a more creative serial killer. A new report from the CDC states that only 1/3 of Americans use condoms, while 2/3 of Americans are still pretty cool.
Get out!
Why do you get good? My dad would hit me with the belt sometimes.
Yeah, you would have to
But
go
it was
get...
the worst when he was the reigning WWE. I was raised Catholic, and when people find out, they always assume there was some creepy priest involved, you know. But they never suspect the deacon.
Fucking asshole.
Adam Egan with a joke.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh God,
He's funny.
you get me with his humor though.
Yeah, it's like very... It's like dry.
You almost need. Sometimes I really need to think about it.
Yeah,
I get it after. I'm like,
it's like
I'm not-
shock.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm not smart enough to click on something, but then sometimes it's like
It's really simple. It's like
Yeah.
simple lines. You
and
know
then
what I mean?
sometimes I'm like, I'm more thinking this here. That is the joke.
Yeah.
It's not like me. I'm like, oh, what's that
Yeah,
mean?
that's good.
There is a hit. Nope, he means it. What it is.
Yeah.
She's basically yeah.
Mhm.
But oh God,
It was good.
there you go.
It was good.
Do you like
He's
him then?
funny. Yeah, he's funny. Like he's really good timing. Like
He has a lot. Yeah, a lot of his shit's on Netflix, so you should give him a wee watch. You know.
sweet. Well
There
done.
you go. That was our reaction to Norm MacDonald Best Jokes.
Best jokes.
Part 1.
Do you want a part 2?
And fucking comment below. Fucking hell. Jesus.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Just to let you know, we've got similar content available on the channel if you want to check it out.
We also do our own podcast called MCPodcasting, where we cover a range of topics from politics, sports, and even movies.
We basically just talk a lot of shit.
We argue a lot as well on it there, but all the links are below. We're on all major platforms, Spotify, iTunes, and is there any other?
That's the main ones, yeah.
Yeah, it's the main ones.
Just check out the podcast, and if there's any sort of videos you want us to react to, drop us a comment on the YouTube videos, and we'll be sure to check it out.
Or if you want to make fun of us, then go ahead. We don't care.
Be nice.
Be nice.
In fairness, we don't really get that many comments.
No, don't.
Yeah.
Stop looking at me.
Okay.